Hello, it is a pleasure to see you all third day in a row. During our broadcast organized by Indie Games Poland Foundation, we discovered some of the best upcoming video games developed by Poles. First of all, here's a piece of The Last Show of Mr. Chardish, an intriguing adventure game about a successful director, young actress, an abandoned theater, and indomitable imagination. Each performance tells a story of different characters, and each gameplay segment is made with different mechanics. Well, guys, break a leg.
Hello, my name is Paul from Hydra Games Publisher, and I'm going to show you an introduction to our new game called The Last Show of Mr. Chardish. It's a second Punk Notions indie developer creation built in a really small team. However, individual developers are extremely experienced in technical stuff, design and storytelling. I hope you will enjoy the show and of course the full game as well.
Please enjoy the final interview, bringing our series, A Collection of Masks, to an end. Our guest is again a brilliant playwright, actor, and theatre director, the creator of such shows as Ascension and Labyrinth, Mr. Robert Chardish.
Let's skip the dialogue, we don't want to spoil you the game, just show the first few minutes of it. Key mechanics, a few pieces of environments, and describe what can you expect from the full version.
So, we meet again, Mr. Chardish. It's hard to believe that this is the end.
Isn't it? Time flies this fast only in the studio, on the stage, and with Sinatra.
It does indeed. Let me explain to the listeners who have missed the previous auditions that we've been meeting to talk about the major plays Mr. Chardish directed over the last 30 years, from the last one to the very first one, as well as about art in general and the bohemian lifestyle.
As long as I manage to stay on track.
Today our time travel takes us back to a theatre in the village named Lindfield, the first stage you had to command by yourself. Before we start talking about art, let me ask, how are you feeling?
Well, I guess I should have seen that one coming, given the circumstances. I feel undefeated and the prognosis is rather optimistic as well.
Oh, surely a lot of people sighed with relief of me just now.
I appreciate that. Sadly, people who expect to see me on stage will be disappointed. The doctors deny me any excitement, and for once in my life I am inclined to listen to people who know better than me.
It must be difficult.
Everyone has to exit stage eventually.
As you can see, Mr. Chardish plays a really important role from the beginning of the game. The story explains his relation to Ella, and as you've probably guessed, you are following the story from her perspective. The Last Show of Mr. Chardish is a narrative-driven 3D exploration game telling the story of a rural theater and the two artists that created it. Decades after that time, Ella receives a key and a letter with only the address on their old place. She decides to come to see what Mr. Chardish had to tell her. She once again takes on the role of the performer, the audience and the muse, and sets off a trip down memory lane. What awaits her? Is it an apology, a plea for closure, or a final gift from Robert? I'm aware that this vague description might leave you with some question marks, but as I mentioned, we don't want to spoil your own experience. Our intention is to give you just a little sneak peek about game's atmosphere and key mechanics. It is, at least in the opening scenes in the old theater, similar to first-person, slow-paced, story-driven games. You can explore the environment, read letters and follow other clues. Sooner or later you will find a mask on the scene.
I can't stand how empty it became. Nothing to do but listen to the rats and remember how it used to be.
The theater is created using traditional 3D methods to achieve a realistic style. Thanks to that, the player can clearly understand and feel the difference between the words and distinguish which one is real. The graphics for performances are designed using 3D VR, but it's not a VR game. A painting tool called Quill. This makes the game stand out among others. Each individual act is also different, usually faster, more complex, and always introduces unique game mechanics. And of course, additional elaboration for the story of Ella and Robert.
Have I planned it? Not at all. The films were a complete novelty to me. But I'm glad that I dared. Despite the sacrifices and changes this decision brought about.
But let's focus on environment puzzles right now. In this very first play, player's approach is to remove obstacles from his or her way by taking light from them. That's how some people handle their problems, try to forget them. What problems? Do you remember the first scene on the stage, throwing a bottle into a lamp? As you can see, even casual puzzles and mechanics have a second meaning here. Meaning that to some point reflects to Ella and Mr. Chardish history. But we don't give straight answers and simple solutions. Each play has a symbolic meaning fitting into a bigger picture. Hiding obstacles by turning nearby spotlights away from them is supposed to be erasing memories from the past. As you can guess, painful memories.
Together.
I mentioned about the visuals, but just before the end of this gameplay presentation, let's focus on music. It plays an important role in the game. Classical music and instruments are a base. Some of the gameplay elements are synchronized to the music beats.
You wanted to shine. 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 shine. You wanted to shine. You wanted to shine. You wanted to shine. For this price. For this price. For this price. For this price.
For if I had a friend all on this earth, you've been a friend to me.
Each play approaches it in a different way, experimenting with various instruments. Each of the spectacular's themes refers to the leitmotif.
Go. Do not turn away. Go. Do not turn away.
Go.
Do not turn away. Go.
This first spectacle is a bit longer and it adds new puzzles based on this already introduced light mechanic, but as we mentioned, we don't want to spoil you the game.
The road leads upwards. 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 I had plenty of plans. I wanted to have everything under control. But that's not how life is. The harder you try, the less control you have.
There are more rooms to explore, secrets to find, and pieces of storyline to put in order. And what is the most important, more plays await for you. Thank you very much for your time. Join our Steam community and follow social media channels to be up to date with the following announcements, such as the release date and news about console versions. You can also play this introduction by yourself. It's already available on Steam as free prologue called The Last Show of Mr. Chardish Act 1.
This is your host speaking about This is the Zodiac speaking, an upcoming video game by creators of Apocalypse, point-and-click adventure game in the vein of Samorost. This time we'll follow the story of the Zodiac, American serial killer who operated in Northern California from the late 60s to early 70s. You may know a guy because of a movie directed by David Fincher, but I can assure you, Polish developers' approach to him completely different.
Hello guys, my name is Peter and I'm a community manager in Klabator. Today I will try to explain certain features and hook you up on the amazing title we are soon releasing, This is the Zodiac speaking. The game is a fact-based, story-driven adventure, of course filtered through the creator's imagination. In This is the Zodiac speaking, throughout your journey you will have to make careful decisions. Your choices during the gameplay will influence the ending of the game.
The same dream again. I've dreamed that I've decoded the Zodiac cipher. My journal. I'll never leave home without it.
The game has two modes: story mode, which introduces the story and doesn't force Zodiac encounters, and serial killer mode, in which the Zodiac appears. In the latter, the player must avoid Zodiac as he doesn't have any weapons. If Zodiac notices us, he will kill us in an unpleasant way. What is really worth saying, our game is not really about the Zodiac himself. We use him more as an excuse for a much more interesting story. The game focuses on a victim's perspective rather than the gore brutality of the killer. We want to give voice to those who were hurt, not the murderer who is just a psychopathic thug after all. What's more, our protagonist is a journalist who follows the Zodiac murderers. His meeting with Zodiac leaves him and his relatives in serious trauma.
I can't solve it. It seems like the message is incomplete.
Journal was the first important item that you will find in the game. Every note and clue that you have gathered is written there, along with your objectives during the game. You can see that I could pick up certain items and check them. They will be able to be used later in the game.
Hi, Robert. It's Donald. Why aren't you picking up? Look, turn on the TV and call me.
Hi, Robert. It's Patrick. I'm coming to you. I have a package for you from our editorial office.
Dad, don't hurt Mommy! Please, don't hurt her!
What you have just seen is a memory of our protagonist. You'll learn a lot about his background through such narrative scenes later in the game. By the way, the story in the game was written by Krzysztof Grudziński, the main creator of the game, and Łukasz Orbitowski, one of the most acclaimed Polish writers.
From the ASF News in San Francisco, this is ASF Breaking News, November 21st, 1973. Just a few weeks after sending the next encrypted message by the Zodiac, the mysterious murderer is threatening to attack again. This time, he wants to blow up a bus with children. California is trembling. It's pure madness.
Using my detection skills, could he be Polish?
They have decided to create a single strong enemy, and that's Zodiac, who keeps harassing the player.
Slides should be in the box somewhere here.
It's something borrowed from Alien movie because it was also based on one strong enemy. When music changes, when he gets close, and this will scare you and scare
Friends.
That's something what Zodiac will do as well.
Old times.
One of the biggest challenges was to scare players, but at the same time to avoid the C-movie type of gore and brutality. This is also why we decided to choose a symbolic style of graphics rather than an unrealistic one. The game is meant to be a thriller, not a gore horror with blood splashing out of the scene. And it was a challenge to create something that has unique visuals but remains scary. The main mode in the game is Detective mode.
Hello, boss.
Have you seen the news about Zodiac? Or have you overslept again?
Sure, I've seen it. I'm still working on the cipher and an article about it.
Your knife buddy threatens to blow up a school bus. What's more, he sent us a package addressed to... well, guess who? You son of a bitch. Guess who? Patrick was at your place, but you didn't answer. You were probably sleeping. Get over that girl. She's left you. That's it. Anyway, Patrick left the package from Zodiac by your door. There's a message written just for you. So move your ass and back to work.
In Detective mode, the player discovers various facts, makes notes, develops photographs, and looks for everything related to murders to recreate them. Our player becomes an investigative journalist. These findings become base for hologram projections in other parts of the game. To sum it up, we gather evidence to recreate a murder. Since the story of Zodiac is based on facts, most locations and murder spots are real-life places. As you can see in the playable demo, Mount Diablo, the location of the player and Zodiac first meeting, closely resembles the real-world location. Also, when it comes to the music in the game, you need to know that the game takes place near the end of the 60s and beginning of the 70s. But composer Agim didn't want to reference that time period, and as such he suggested instead reference the 80s music from B-class cinema. Agim has created an audio theme with specific dramaturgy and then took all of its layers and cut them into fragments. Punch Punk dev team created a special response engine connected with music. Sound is a part of the game's reaction to the player's choices and action.
Robert, I gave you 2 years of my life. That's almost 800 days that you owe me. Think of it as a debt you can never pay off. As if you stole something you can't give back. After my friends split up from their partners, they always have lots of good memories, shared mornings together, trips away, sex, but I just want to wipe the 2 years with you from my memory. I wish I'd spent those 2 years in a coma, get it? I don't want to waste another minute. Don't write, don't call. You've already taken enough from me.
Creators of the game set the bar high as they want this Zodiac speaking to be something more than just a game. This is why they work with acclaimed writers and musicians. The goal is to tell a compelling story that contains many different art layers.
There's a certain magic in developing photos, when the image is just beginning to emerge, and I'm trying to guess what it is. I used to believe in that magic once. What is this place? It looks familiar. I bet I must have passed through it, or seen it in a book. is he saying to me? I still don't know. This is a once-in-a-lifetime book. Let's look, that hill must be here somewhere. There it is, Mount Diablo. Gotcha. I better take my gun. Everyone in their right mind carries a gun. Monica wanted me to keep it in a safe, locked away. Perhaps there's some sense in that, but a woman's thinking makes a man vulnerable. And what do you get in return? Three, 4, 5, 6. Monica, you bitch, you changed the code. What if I killed the Zodiac? I'd be a hero. But I've never fired a gun. Maybe I will regret this, but at least I'll be able to defend myself. I'm on my way to Mount Diablo to confront Zodiac. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. I've never been so afraid and actually terrified my entire life, but it's my moment now. It's my chance to show the world what a great investigative journalist I am. I'll be the first to look such evil right in its eyes, confront it.
Gatewalkers answers an unasked question: what would the baby of Diablo and Don't Starve look like? It's a cooperative survival game with action RPG elements, hostile inhabitants, extreme weather conditions, toxic atmosphere, survival mechanics, procedurally generated worlds, portals, and I could do this for a long time, but instead let's see this intriguing mix in action.
Toxic atmosphere, penetrating cold, and terrifying darkness. You won't make it alone, believe me. Unless with a little bit of help from other Gatewalkers. Get ready for the adventures which await you. Reveal secrets buried in mysterious constructions and defeat their guardians. Timing and synergy are key to earn your place in the Guild of Gatewalkers. Don't be afraid of the portals. Become the Gatewalker.
Hey, you there, rookie. Have you passed your Guild Academy test? Doesn't matter. This will be your trial. You must help our brothers and sisters behind the gate. They asked for support. Apparently, something big is going on there. We have prepared some basic weapons for you. They are in your storage chest on the left. Hello! On behalf of a Square Softworks studio, I wish to present to you Gatewalkers. The Gatewalkers is a unique mixture of cooperative action RPG and survival games. The first core feature of the game is truly skill-based combat. In Gatewalkers, players need to aim with each spell in order to hit the enemy. The enemies also need to aim, so it's possible to dodge most skills casted in the game. You can play Gatewalkers solo or with up to 4 players. When playing with others, players can execute powerful combos by mixing their spells with spells casted by other party members. During your adventures in the Gatewalkers, you'll visit different worlds with various survival hazards. 1. In the ice world, you're fighting with penetrating cold by eating fatty food, wearing warm clothes, or warming yourself near the fire. 2. In a toxic world, on the other hand, you need to survive in a toxic atmosphere by crafting the gas mask and adding some kind of filters to it to breathe there. Now let's talk about the replayability of the game. Even if you're visiting the same type of world multiple times during the gameplay, you won't get bored because we're procedurally generating the map in the runtime. So, each time you're entering the world, you're exploring the different map and are facing different creatures that are a subset of all available creatures in the world. In Gatewalkers, we're introducing a unique progression system that has no restrictions. We use the approach called "you are what you wear," so spells are bound into the items that you use. In order to progress your character, you have to craft better gear. There are no levels and no experience points. The character progression starts with unlocking the appropriate recipe for the item you wish to craft. Then you visit different worlds in order to gather the appropriate resources or loot resources from different creatures and bosses. Afterwards, you craft an item and are able to use it. Additionally, there are no restrictions to gear that you can use together, nor predefined classes, so you can mix any type of weapon with any armor, etc. As a result, you can define your role in the group just by changing your equipment. Now let's talk about the workflow of the game. 1. The first thing you do is locate the world you wish to visit. For example, the forest world, the ice world, etc. You can choose different worlds for different reasons, such as you'd like to finish the quest, gather resources for a new sword, or you wish to defeat a powerful boss. 2. Once you know where you'd like to go, you get a sneak peek of what to expect in the world, like weather conditions or environmental hazards. This allows you to plan what to take with you in your backpack to make survival easier. 3. Next, you enter the world and explore it. Go on quests and/or objectives, loot creatures, and search for secret chests with loot. When you're done with the world, you can go back to the hub. 4. In the hub, you're progressing the storyline and are able to craft new items and progress your character. We hope that you enjoyed this short walkthrough video of Gatewalkers. If you like it, please add it to your Steam wishlist. Also, be aware that you can play Gatewalkers Alpha, so you're welcome to try it.
Don't be afraid of the portals. Become the Gatewalker.
There's only blood and bodies. No survivors. These creatures have sacrificed...
You've managed to bring these plants. Let's extract seeds and try them at once. Come back to me later and we...
take this one. Lay out somewhere and rest. A good nap will put you back on your feet.
There are no traces of our people here. Apparently, it was a...
Don't be afraid of the portals. Become the Gatewalker.
That's all, folks. I would like to remind you that we'll be back tomorrow with another broadcast organized by Indie Games Poland Foundation and Polish Ministry of Culture and National Heritage. See you guys soon.